Map value is probably my favorite custom function, and I include it in virtually every project I start. For example, I'm using it here to scale the draw distance of enemies and missiles on the radar, and here to scale the GUI based on the device's resolution, and here to scale the camera wobble. Map value works by taking a number and remapping it from one range to another. If you give it the number 5 and the first range of 0 to 10 and the second range of 0 to 100, it will return 50. Now, this is probably obvious, but it's so much more flexible than that as it can accept any range, including flipped ranges, and work with numbers outside of the given range as well. So 15 in range 0 through 10 becomes 150 in range 0 through 100. But it becomes negative 50 in range 100 through 0. And if we use the number 300 in range 50 through 150 and map that number to range 1 through 0, it becomes negative 1.5. And for our last example, if we start with negative 0.76 in range negative 1 through 1 and map that number to range 0 through 1, it will become 0.12. Now let's go back to my 3 examples and actually look at the code. For the radar, I'm using the instance's current distance from the player and an initial range of 0 through 3,400, which is roughly the size of the arena, and mapping that to 100 to missile radar radius, which is just a number I found to work well. This creates a scaled, radar-like minimap centered around the player, but not overlapping the player. And here, I'm scaling the GUI objects X and Y from 0 to 180 for the width and 0 and 1920 for the height, between 0 and whatever the actual GUI width and height are. So I place the GUI objects in my room how I want them based on a 1080 by 1920 resolution, and then they are scaled correctly on the actual device. This works because this is an Android game where the GUI width and height are set by the phone's resolution and can't be changed mid-game by the player. And here, I'm using it to remap the output provided by the Perlenoise function, which returns an output between negative and positive 1 to the wobble distance that I've set. And these are really just a few uses. It's extremely useful for scaling things like health or EXP bars, or for doing things like scaling damage based on the player's velocity. And that's it. There's a link to the function below, as well as a link to a written explanation over on the official GMC forum, and I hope that you find it useful in making your own games.